This is a Freightliner Classic XL. This truck design is pretty square, and the interior is not very comfort. It is like very like cheap, we can call it, because it has a lot of cheap plastic, and it is not that comfortable inside. So why still drivers, owner operators still prefer these Classic XLs over newer trucks? Well, that's a question that I'm gonna show you right now. But before telling you about that, this Classic XL has competitors as the W900 KW and the 379 Peterbilt. Those competitors, they are still using those bodies up to date with newer technologies. The Classic XL was completely discontinued. The newer classic style we can call is the Freightliner Coronado, which is not classic at all because the body is based on a Century class, and it doesn't have this body as this one, this massive body, this like present on the over the road body as this one has. But anyway, that's a little background about this truck. So today I'm going to show you why people still prefer this truck over other trucks, knowing that this truck is not the best truck over the road. We're gonna start by the engine. To open the hood on this one, it's kind of hard because this is a heavy hood, super heavy hood. So we just like release the strap, and after releasing both of the straps, you can pull the hood. It has this thing where you can put your feet over here and then open it. But if you are a light person like me, you have hard time pulling the hood because this is a heavy hood. You have to be some kind of heavy to pull it. But there you have it. This is a Series 60 Detroit engine. It was used from many years over the life of this Classic and many other Freightliner and other models at the time. One of the reasons why people like this is because you can see the entire engine. You can go to the rear area of the engine from here. You can have access to the rear area of the engine, and that's something that you're never going to see on modern trucks. Never going to see it. Doesn't matter what type of truck it is. That's the reason why this Classic XL is classified as very owner operator friendly, because you can do everything yourself. It has problems as every other truck, every other engine. As for example, one of the problems that this one has is the radiator over here. It fails pretty easy. The radiator, this gasket that comes over here, is made of a very cheap material, and it just leaks. And that is a very heavy radiator and very expensive to replace because it is a heavy radiator. But that's one of the points of this truck, making stuff that is very strong, very resistant to the work. And that's the reason why you have this, because this is metal instead of being plastic. But if you get this one in a plastic style, it's lighter and it's easy to replace. But this one, if you want to take this radiator out of here, like with your own force like this, like bringing it up and then taking it down, it's super heavy. I have done it in the past. I used to work on this back in the days, and I know how hard it is. Another problem with the engine is the belts. They get loose. The fan belts, they get loose over the time. They start making noise and everything. You have to retighten every time. It's not a big deal, but over the time it gets annoying because the belts are getting like too stretched and you have to replace them. And then the pulley on the back where the crankshaft goes, is start making like a groove, a larger groove, and that makes a higher problem to tie these belts. That's the reason why this is a problem over the Detroit engines especially. And also other problems are like leaks from this area over here. There is the crankshaft over here, the camshaft, I'm sorry, and it leaks from that area. The seal goes bad over the time, and you have to like remove this part over here, like do some stuff here. If you have worked on these engines, you know how it is to work. But if you haven't, this is another way, another engineering, so it's totally different than the modern engines. Probably some of you then are used to the newer engines, like the newer Detroits, the newer Cummins and everything like that. You don't know anything about this engine, but some of you, they know about this. You know how hard and how easy it is to work on this, depending on what you want to do. I did myself, so I know how to work on these ones as well. Yeah, so that's one of the problems as well. Leaks over here too, you have leaks and stuff like that. Leaks. It is not that many electrical issues, but sometimes it comes with the check engine light on, and it gives you a code that says unknown as well. So it gives you codes like that, then you don't even know what you want to fix because the computer is pulling something that you don't even know. If you go to the other side, we have the turbo here, and as you can see, the turbo is super exposed. You can remove it yourself and put it back with no problems. I think everybody likes this design because of that. The turbo is right in front of you. If you have to work over here, there is the bolts and you can grab the turbo. Instead of being the newer models, then the turbo is hidden over here and you have to like try to make your way to get the turbo out. It's super hard. But in this area, you can have problems as well. The turbo goes bad, it leaks oil from both ends over the time. A very common problem, especially for this Cascadia, for this Classic, I'm sorry, is the AC compressor. This AC compressor is pretty cheap, pretty easy to break. It goes bad, like almost every summer you have to replace it. It goes bad very easy. And the bracket that holds the AC compressor goes bad too, because the bolts over here, they get loose and so on. And also a major engine problem are the cylinder liners. They start like having like a little like orifices over the time because of the corrosion, and the oil goes to the coolant, and then your engine is bad and you have to replace the engine and everything, stuff like that. So these are common problems with this engine. So just because this is an old generation of trucks and you think doesn't have a problem, they do have problems. But the thing is, like, are problems known already, are problems that people know what they are, and that's the reason why people prefer this truck. Another thing then is, like, you have to understand how to drive this truck. This truck doesn't drive like any other truck over the road. The reason why is because the axle, you can see the axle is right to the front of the chassis. The steer axle is right in the front of the chassis. It is like in the front area of the engine, as you can see. The modern trucks like Cascadias, like T660 and stuff like that, they have the steer axle behind the engine in this area. So this front area is completely free because it is easy to make a turn to one side and to another. That's the reason why this truck, you have to understand how to drive it, because if you get a load and you want to make a turn, you're going to get stuck because it is so hard to make turns, especially on tight places. It is so hard to make turns of these ones. That's the reason why some people like it, some people don't. But people that like this appearance, they love them, and I know why they love them, because all this is pretty easy. It's pretty easy to work. If they were DD15s, DD16s the same way as this one, everybody would like those. The same engine, this body, it will be so easy to work, but there is none. The Coronado is like easier to work, but still it doesn't have this much room because it's a shorter version of the Classic XL. But now everything else on the exterior of the truck, it looks as a truck should look, right? You have your mufflers there, which is a very classic appearance of a truck. Your tanks over there, which that's the way a classic truck looks, right? And axle, fifth wheel and everything. It's nothing complicated, nothing to get surprised. It's pretty simple stuff, pretty easy to repair. Nothing like too sophisticated as the new trucks over the road, but it has some kind of like ways to work. As I say, you know, like it is not the best truck, but it is the best truck if you are an owner operator. Now, if you go inside the cab here, these doors are very crappy. These doors are super crappy. What I mean by that, then they're so flimsy, they're so like cheap made. This truck was made pretty cheap. I don't know for what. Probably Freightliner didn't have much money at the time or something, or they didn't want to invest that much money. But they are pretty cheap. They're not like very like strong or nothing. They're very light, and whenever you close them, they don't close all the way. Air goes through the seals, these areas. Air goes to the seal, water goes to the seal. They go bad, like this one. You see how it is? They go bad pretty easy. You replace them, and then they go bad. These panels over here, they're metal, and you see they don't seal properly, because as soon as you remove them, then you put them back and they don't seal evenly again, and so many stuff like that. This truck is not like very comfortable. This is just for people that is committed and people that know what a classic truck is, and that's the reason why still people love these trucks. Even if you have these many problems, still people have love for this truck. But now if we move to the interior, you can see this design of the dashboard. This is pretty cheap material, very flimsy plastic, then it breaks pretty easy. If you drop one of these trucks, you understand that, because all these breaks over the time. It is just, I don't know, the plastic here is just so cheap, you know, like for some reason they ship out here, and that is a bigger problem. But anyway, that's one of the deals, one of the problems you have to deal if you want to drive a Classic XL. Now, if you look at the dashboard over here, this is the way a dashboard should look like on a truck. Multiple gauges. In this case, we are we don't have the full set of gauges, because if you have the full set of gauges, you're gonna have this area filled with gauges too. But in this case, we don't have that. But that's the point of this Classic, give you information. Those gauges, all these gauges are for information purposes. You as an owner operator, as a driver, you want information, and with these gauges you have all the information. The problem with this design of Classic is then the gauges are like, the majority are like they're not electronic, some of them, and some of, if they are electronic, they are with very like not very precise numbers. They don't work very precise, but still they work, and that's the point. I mean, like this truck was designed, I don't know, in the 90s, something like that, and they still carry the truck all the way to the 2000s. And the way this one looks is the way a 2010 Freightliner Classic XL looks, because there are some 2010s, not many, but there are some there with the Series 60 engines, with the DPF engines. But the same way this one looks, the same way the other, that's right, to me looks like kind of disappointing at some point, because it doesn't have any technology at all, or some improvements over the years. But anyway, this is how the interior is. It's not very comfortable. These seats are okay, but the ride quality of this truck is like super harsh. You're gonna like drive, if you drive over a bump, you actually feel all the cabinets are gonna come all the way down with you. All the stuff you have there is gonna come down, because this truck is not comfortable at all. This truck was not made for a comfort ride. This truck was made for work, and that's what you do here, right? Work. So that's right, they don't care. I mean, like they didn't care at the time, because you know what, you wanna work. We don't want you to get distracted with a TV. We don't get you to get distracted with a fridge or something. And all the newer trucks, they have all that. This truck doesn't have any of that. But yes, that's one of the things. Another thing with this one, this truck has the old style Meritor transmission, 10-speed Meritor transmission. And this transmission used to be very popular back in the days. It's no longer, because this transmission combines air and electronics at the same time. What it does is like it has electronic solenoids that control the air. So every time you do the range selection, it does electronically. The E7 transmissions, they do it by air. There is air solenoids instead of being like electronic solenoids. which is easy to deal with, because these solenoids, they go bad over the time. As you can see over here, see that many cables that come over here? These are all cables that come to the transmission all the way down. And this is not automatic transmission, this is a manual transmission, and that's one of the problems. This transmission was okay, but it was not the best. This Meritor transmission, in this case, this truck has it, and I don't actually like it. I think you won't like it, because the way you have to buy a Classic XL, it has to be either with the 13, 15, or 18 speed transmission, because those are the best for this one. 13s are good, 15s are the best, 18s, you got the deal there. The problem with the gears over here is then this gear level goes bad over the time, the bushes goes bad over the time, and this orifice over here where the gear stick goes is very small, so you ended up having problems with this gear touching the area around and the gear not being able to go in because it is not much clearance between. So that's why you have this over here. As you can see over here, it is just barely getting close to this area over here, because this truck was not made with that much engineering on mind. Newer trucks they have like many years of engineering. In these trucks, they didn't care, they just want to do a truck, and that's what happened. That's why you have this like afterthoughts, we can call it, because that's the reason you have this gear, then it is more to one side to another. Of course you can fix that, but it's really hard to fix it, because over the time everything wears. Parts are very hard to find, especially for these ones, because they're getting away, they're no longer in production anymore, and it's really hard to get the specific parts, because not much people have them, and it is a trouble having one of these trucks. Of course, having the opportunity to have one of these trucks is pretty good, but yes, it's hard. Another thing, once you are inside the cab, you can see how massive this hood looks from here. If you look at the hood, you cannot see everything. You can just see the part of the hood, and then that's it. This hood is super massive compared to the newer trucks, and it's really hard to see the corners over there and over here. You can actually do this and you still have hard time to look the corners over here. Even with the mirrors on position over there, is really hard. That's why if you are sitting on this position, you have to look ahead before going somewhere, because if you don't look ahead, you can run over anything and you won't even notice it, because you cannot see anything. Even if you go like this, you still cannot see at all. It's a massive nose on this case, but that's the reason why the engine is so exposed, because of that long nose. That's the point, right? To have a very classic design, we can call it. And the interior is pretty simple. You see, you got the beds, cabinets, pretty cheap material. Nothing to get surprised. It looks like a classic truck. Nothing special. Nothing like you will say, oh, this truck is a very advanced by the time. No, this is a pretty simple design. Nothing special. It is just mostly then everything was made over here was made cheap. That's what it is, but that's the reason why it's so simple to fix it, because everything is like so simple. Nothing is like complicated, nothing is like super advanced or something. Everything here, all the switches over here, they're just simple switches, pass switches. You put the switch up, it just pass electricity, just contact, and that's it. It is not like the newer switches. There are like kind of electronic control switches, like the bunk and the AC in the front. They are pretty simple. All you have to do is move the levers. Nothing complicated. Nothing is like super hard to work on this truck. Everything is so simple. That's the reason why people love this truck. That's pretty much all about this classic truck. After telling you all this, I guess you understand why owner-operators still love this truck. It is not the most amazing truck over the road, but it's one of the trucks then are owner operator friendly, especially here where the most important thing is the engine. Pretty easy to access, pretty easy to repair. The only problem is emissions over here in California. They're striking on these trucks, so it is really hard to keep one of these trucks around here, but in other states or in other countries it will be easy to have one of these, especially on how easy it is to work. Don't expect the best quality, the best ride quality, don't expect the best AC, you don't expect the best lighting over the road, because these lights are very bad. Don't expect none of that. The only thing you gotta expect on one of these trucks is the classic appearance and how proud you're gonna feel of owning a truck like this, a classic truck, and stuff like that, because this truck doesn't have any of the newer trucks commodities, doesn't have anything like that. This truck is just basic, but that's the reason why this truck is popular over the owner operator market, because it's basic, and that's how it gotta be. That's the reason newer trucks are so complicated, because they're not basic. They have so many stuff and people doesn't understand how to use it, especially modern trucks. But that's about it. This was another episode of F.A.I.T.H. In this case, I have this truck. I wanted to review a classic. I have the opportunity, why not? But probably if you want me to talk about your truck, probably I can do it as well. You can contact me on Instagram. Just look for FranciscoAmaya YouTube, and then you're gonna find the Instagram account, and that's how easy you can contact me. You can tell me about, and we can go from there. Just make sure to follow me there, and then we can do something. We can make something happen. I'm just trying to do these videos to show people what it is to be. But if you have a truck like this, I will be happy to review it, because there are many trucks. If you have a better truck, a better classic, or a better other truck, I will be doing it as well. Just make sure to subscribe to this channel. It's very important. I'm trying to do my best of making videos like this, informative videos for everybody that wants to learn something different. And just make sure to like the video as well. And also, if for any reason you want to send any kind of support to my channel, you can check the description below. I have details on how to send support to my channel, so I can do helpful videos, you know, buy better equipment or something for more videos in the future or something like that. And that's all I have to share. Just if anything about this truck, use the comment section below, comment there, share opinions. And if you have something to add to this video, you can use the comment section too. And that's all. Thank you for watching. So I rolled down the window to do that video and everything, and it doesn't want to go up. I need to see what's going on here. Oh, I see why. See over here, I don't know if you can see the rail where the window goes is off. You can see it there, I don't know. No, that thing is off. So if you are owner operator, you have to deal with these problems with these trucks. It's not fun. The way to start this truck is pretty simple. All you have to do is like turn the key, and that weird noise comes. That is the warning, low air pressure or something, oil pressure or anything. And then you start. In this case, the Classic, they had this button over here then to start. If you turn the key, nothing happens. It is to start.